Okay, I think we're good. JJ, talk.
Hi, Pickles.
Okay, it picked you up.
Did it?
A little bit quieter.
Okay.
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 Guys,
Yep.
JJ's here.
I'm in the studio, guys.
Whoa,
It's crazy. We're both gonna sound good this time.
Woo!
That's rare. Usually one of us sounds better than the other.
Well, I feel like I've been doing pretty well. It's just because I'm loud.
You're always loud.
That's fair.
Well, definitely.
Yep.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
That's
okay.
it. Thank you all for watching.
Yep. Thanks.
Anyway, what are we doing today, JJ? This is Nerd Rant. I'm Dr. Tom Bernard.
Yeah.
also known as
Hi.
Seth,
I'm Junior Wolf, also known as JJ,
which has already been said.
which has already been said.
I think. Probably.
Probably. Anyways,
We're
Moving on.
doing...
weird Fortnite stuff. Okay, so here's the thing. We were going to talk about like game state, right? And I think we still are going to talk about like loot pool and what we want for the future. But like stuff just came out. Like there's stuff going down with the story. So we're going to end up talking about some of that here.
It's going to be the
just like-
last Fortnite episode.
Yeah,
We're
last
gonna
Fortnite
we're
before
probably gonna
Chapter 4.
mention a few things because I feel like we can cover some events like Dragon Ball and stuff somewhere in here.
Yeah.
The game state right now, like what kind of stuff we really like and the stuff we really want to see. I made a wish list video. JJ did not, but I did. We're gonna talk a little bit about some stuff like that, and then probably some theories on Chapter 4, which is like a day away.
It is. It's very, very close. Closer than you'd think.
I don't like it.
Of course.
I don't like anything. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. How do you want to start this?
Okay, well, I wanna talk about what just happened on Twitter.
What just happened?
So-
Something happened on Twitter. I'm also gonna mention I've not been on Twitter all week because I'm trying to not be spoiled.
I could care less. I'm staying away from like stuff that is obviously marked as a spoiler, but like I'm not being careful per se. So
Yeah.
I've seen some leaks, but honestly, there's been nothing like groundbreaking. Like we still don't know what's happening in the event.
But that's not the fact that like they warned us that there is a possibility of it. And like I think the leaker's been really well, but there is a risk that at any moment any leak can blow up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just rather take
Respect to the leakers as well, because they've turned off all of their comment sections, which is like just honestly it's so nice just being able to avoid that kind of thing.
There's just a kid with a bunny.
Just
They're
a kid. Okay.
It was a guy with a lollipop, and then a kid just popped around the corner.
Brilliant. Okay.
But this is something that we saw how many weeks ago? Like 2 weeks ago now, maybe something like that.
What did we see?
Like just something's happening with Top 5 Gaming.
Oh yeah. I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was a week at most.
A week ago.
Yeah.
Or so, something like that. And Top 5 Gaming. What did you say, JJ?
Okay. Top 5 Gaming said finally made it to Reality 659. Now it's time to find Cypher PK and Typical Gaming.
Now it was only Cypher, so I guess Typical Gamer is doing something. Wait.
Yeah.
What if he gets an icon skin at the beginning of Chapter 4?
Dude.
Because Typical Gamer and Nick A30 are the next ones that they're not necessarily guaranteed, but those are the ones that the community wants because they deserve it so much. They've been around, they're good at the game, but they're also like they've been active in the community. They don't take breaks compared to some other people that come
Top
back.
5 Gaming almost every other day they make a Fortnite video.
Yeah,
so.
the only thing I have with that one is the fact that he doesn't play.
Yeah.
It's a little
they do like the experiment stuff in the game.
Yeah,
like,
but like
more
compared
creative
to someone like the other guys, like I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a skin, but like somewhere like Nick A30, like he has his skin and he has something that they can go off of and he plays. Top 5 Gaming, not as much. He does a lot of Fortnite community stuff, but like gameplay and like like Cypher PK had his book and everything. Like he's a demon, like he has an Oni mask. What does Top 5 Gaming have?
A YouTube channel?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Compared to some of the other guys, he doesn't have a staple Fortnite
They don't quite
skin
have branding.
and like a branding for Fortnite directly in game compared to these other guys.
Like other than really slapping their logo on a t-shirt, there's not much else they could do. I mean, we've seen Lachlan, like he doesn't really have a thing either. Like he doesn't have the Oni mask type of thing, but they still managed to make it work.
It looked like him, but he did have the power at that point, which is like the lightning, and that was an entire set. Like what would Top 5, like would it be like a flask for science? Like
I could see science.
Maybe, but like I don't know. It's just a little harder compared to
I could see something happening.
But maybe something happening at the beginning of Chapter 4, icon-wise, even if it's an announcement that like halfway in the season we get an icon skin.
I mean, are they working it into the story then?
It could be.
The fact that he's talking about Reality 659 makes me think like, okay, so they're involved in the story then.
It could be. It could just be they're working with Epic Games and they're just trying to troll everyone. Would you completely throw that out the door?
No, but like I'd be kind of a little bit disappointed, just a tad.
Yeah.
Because like imagine getting the actual creators involved in the story.
That'd be crazy.
That would be insane.
Now, if they are, do you think it's going to be as small as just like background characters? Like you remember the one like the cube was exploding and we just see like the lifeguard Jonesy just
I think it could be like a feature
like
kind of thing. Like maybe they come in for like voice acting for one quest, right?
Maybe.
And then from there on we might see them in the background, but like they're not a reoccurring.
Maybe like
character.
an NPC or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't see it anything like Jonesy or Foundation level.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
It'd be cool, but I doubt it. What else? So is there anything else you want to mention with that?
I don't think so. Honestly, we're gonna have to wait until either Cypher or Typical posts something.
Which I don't know if they're going to.
I feel like
just
they
with
might.
the event so close at this point, they're just hyping
Unless
us up for the event.
Unless this is like Fortnite telling them to post this stuff, I could very much see it being a lead up to the event. Like first Top 5 Gaming, then Typical, and then Cypher.
Just saying,
you
hey,
know?
we arrived.
Yeah.
And I feel because I just don't see too much. Just the fact that the event is like 12 hours, like 15 hours away at this point. Like it is really close to like the build up. Like not necessarily the event directly, but like 15 hours, we're gonna like everyone's gonna be getting ready. Like the parties are gonna start forming. People are gonna start playing the hour or two before the event. That like 15 hours from now or so, it's gonna be picking up pace. Now that's gonna be really confusing because this is probably gonna be uploaded tonight. So 15 hours from then might be wrong, but it's fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
I feel like that's the hard part with doing a live show, but also a podcast because you're talking about stuff coming up like tomorrow, but that's the same day for the people listening. But if you listen to it later, that's a week ago.
Yeah, maybe we should date it. Maybe we should just say like the second, the third, you know?
Yeah, I think we should start doing that because that was the hard part with last night. It's like, okay, so in 3 hours, it's going to be the day before the event, but when I'm uploading this, it's the day before the event. Yeah.
Well, it is currently the second. The event happens on the third.
Yes.
So it happens tomorrow.
Or today. Or last week.
Yeah. Depending on when you're listening. The 3rd of December.
Okay, that's enough about dates. Let's get a little bit more into Fortnite. At least we don't have to skip halfway in.
Skip what?
For the Zoom. We don't have to switch Zoom.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true.
He pulled up his phone and it said, "Hi, Seth." On his phone, typed.
I can't.
I don't know.
Some people.
Yeah, so what do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about anything else?
Well, I think we can hop into our loot pool wish list because you said you made a video. Yes. I haven't made a video. I have done some thinking about it though, and I have told you a few things. So, do you want to just give a quick summary?
Sure. I'll just if you want to watch some of the reasoning behind my stuff, go watch my video. If not, ARs. It was the scoped assault rifle. It was the tactical AR and the heavy AR. Shotguns, the heavy shotgun, the combat shotgun. And what was the other one? Charge. Sniper, it was the boom bow, and then obviously the heavy, but if not, the suppressed. Pistol, we should keep the sidearm, and then maybe deagle or scoped revolver. SMGs, submachine gun, the suppressed submachine gun, and the machine pistol. And the utility, just keep shockwaves in. I don't think anyone complains about shockwaves. That is like the perfect item that should always be there.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think I said this in the video. Launch pads. Give us launch pads.
Yeah, give us launch pads back, please.
And I miss armored walls. I would love to see
those
some
are great.
Walls back too.
Honestly, I think they should rework it for zero build as well.
Like I think that's a possibility of them throwing down armored walls or
like
something.
Keep the throwable launch pads and armored walls for zero
And that's
build.
what I said in my video. That is one of the big things that I think needs to happen. A separate loot pool. We get normal launch pads back as a trap. Because I do not like the fact that I have to keep that as an item slot in build mode when I have mobility, an item, and heal, like all that. It should be a trap. 'Cause there's literally no traps right now. So that is a whole slot. That's a whole inventory. That's a whole button that does nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
And I think it should very much do something in build mode.
So I think that should, but then for zero build, there should be a separate loot pool, which is where things like the throwable launch pad, throwable armored wall should be.
Because then those are actually useful. People aren't upset that the traps aren't there because they wouldn't be able to use them anyway.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that I had, like the bubble shield. That should definitely stay in zero build. Or something like I said, the Porta Bunker.
Yeah.
I think that is perfect for zero build. But something like the Porta Fortress is a bit much.
Yeah.
But that's really fun in build mode where you can build up to get there, right? So
maybe have
stuff like
have
that
it so
should be
that
build
supply
versus
drops
zero
can
build.
give Porta Fortresses.
It could be, but
Like,
either
have it
way,
be
like,
a
I
hard
just
to
feel
get
like
item.
it's a bit much for zero build, because how else would you get there? The only way you can get there is now the middle, and you're screwed. Why would you go up there? Whereas if it's build mode, you can build up the sides, you can crank up like vertically, like a
I
ramp.
think that's kind of the point of it, though. Like, it's a difficult item to get because you can only get it from supply drops, and it gives you enough of an advantage that you're now wanting to go for a supply drop a lot more. Because half of the point of supply drops is now taken away because you're not getting mats from it, right?
The only other problem with that, though, is the vaults. There's so many. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to get a supply drop.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Especially with the dial drop. Like, it's not that hard. So it'd still be a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying they're bad, but just like build versus zero build, I just feel like the bunker fits in a lot more in zero build
Yeah,
with a
makes
smaller
sense.
scale. Because like you're saying, it's give it a large advantage. If you throw two Porta Fortresses on top of each other, there's only one way to get up there. You're not gonna be able to get high ground. You can get down with the shockwave with the bounce pads. Like, you're invincible up there. That's a little too much.
A little
The
bit.
bunker, though, that's balanced. You're one block up, like maybe two if you're throwing two. Like, it's not too terrible. You still have your backside open. You can hide underneath. Like, it's balanced.
Yeah.
Compared to the fortress specifically, the Porta Fort still, it's a better fit, but it's still a bit much. For me personally, at least.
Stuff like that is just perfect for zero build.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much everything.
Okay, well,
What's your list?
my list. Okay, so I'm just
Long.
gonna base off of yours for now. In terms of ARs, I do think we should get the heavy back. I really like the heavy AR.
Yes.
It's a fun weapon.
It's like the
and-
Ranger, just
yeah.
does more damage, and I like weapons like that.
I didn't use it back when it was in the game, but that's just because I thought the Scar was so much better. But now that we've been using the Ranger for a long time, I definitely do think it should come back.
Yeah.
I do think it probably would get a nerf if it did come back.
Probably a damage point or
Yeah.
two.
But I think it'd be a fun weapon to see come back, and then people will still kind of get that nostalgia boost even if we don't get the Scar, you know, because the heavy is a classic weapon. I think keep something more short range, because obviously the heavy is very long range. I think keep something more short range, maybe like the hammer, though a different weapon, because I'm not a huge fan of the hammer, and we've had it for a couple seasons now. So switch it out for something a little bit more short
I said
range,
the
less
tactical
accuracy.
AR. What else would be fast AR? Maybe the suppressed?
I could see the suppressed, yeah. I think that's a little too close to the Scar, though, honestly.
Yeah. Because that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have many others.
Yeah. I mean, if they bring back... I just choked on my tongue. If we bring back the crafting system, I think it's very possible that we could re-add a bunch of the special weapons we've had, like the cube weapons and the chrome weapons. I think could both be a solid part of the game permanently if they kept the crafting system, because then you could find the cube parts, turn it into a cube weapon, find the chrome vials and turn it into a
So what if we got
chrome
like
weapon.
a biome? Like, what if in reality that's where you get your chrome, and what if we had a different biome compared to like the desert and snow, which is like a cube area,
And maybe each one has their own chest that gives those
like
type
the sideways
of weapons.
chest, and
or the chrome
and
chest.
The chrome chest. That would be awesome.
That would be cool. I would really
And
like
would-
that.
And like I said this when we were privately talking. I really hope that we get some votes back, like the mythics, because it adds so much risk going to a certain area. Because right now, there's no point. Like, you can throw a sapling down and maybe get something, but is it really worth it to land at a specific spot to get your reality sapling to get a weapon that does 2 more damage? Is it that much worth it? There's no risk to it. But if, say that, like, this corner adds chrome weapons, this corner adds sideways weapons, this corner adds Wild West weapons, right, because of the based on the POI and the biome, that would be great. And that would split the map more, so that way everyone's not landing at just hot drops, they're landing at drops that they want.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be really good. And if they add a boss for each of those biomes, you know, like have a chrome boss, like it probably wouldn't be Herald for story reasons, but have like a chrome guard there or something that has a bunch of health.
Huntmaster.
Yeah, like Huntmaster or something like that. Have him be there so that they can still drop a mythic of that biome's weapon, you know?
So I know one option that we've been talking about is like a tilted biome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if there we have like a tech type boss, which is like an IO, which gives like a pulse rifle or something.
That could be cool. I think also varying boss drops, like have it only drop one mythic, but have it vary from match to match.
Yeah.
So like
maybe one gives an assault rifle, but it can be like a heavy, it can be a scar.
Have it be like Sloane's pulse rifle or her burst, you know?
Yeah.
Like have it drop all the different
now, it
IO
wouldn't be
weapons
Sloane,
or something.
right?
Yeah, not obviously not
burst or a
Sloane, but
pulse,
like something along those
like
lines.
that, like if that would be really cool. Because
Yeah.
I think Sloane had 2 bursts and a pulse rifle.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, so it could be one of any of those 3.
I think that add a lot of variation to the matches too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be slightly disappointing if you went for a specific weapon and it didn't drop it, but I think that kind of adds to the risk of going for the boss.
That's exactly. I think that there needs to be more risk because there's no risk in going anywhere
Yeah.
other than just having people there. So
bosses are kind of hard to take on by yourself, but honestly, if you have the weapons, you can do it.
I just feel like the bosses we've had in Chapter 3 have been really hard.
They have been.
Sloane with her
It's because they're adding so many other like abilities to the bosses.
Like heralds, wolves, and everything. But back in the day, like they're just tough. Yeah, there are some like guards around or something, but they just had their weapon.
Yeah.
We don't have the herald, which is invincible.
Darth
has
Vader
2 wolves,
pulling you toward him.
Darth Vader throwing a freaking can at you and jumping at you and dodging every single blast. Even a goo gun does nothing. Like
it's a little bit
just
insane.
The bosses are a little intense.
Yeah.
So I think if they went more common with bosses, they would make them easier.
Yeah.
So that way it's more fair and solo, especially if they are as strong. Like the Darth Vader's lightsaber, not a lot of people really cared. What was it? The mythic suppressed machine gun. It's not, but like these types of weapons, say that that's the only pulse rifle on the map, a lot more people would be going for that. So then they maybe make it a little easier, not too easy, but we're not going to have no Darth Vader blocking every shot or throwing fireflies at you.
And I wouldn't say that crowds the loot pool either, because there's only one of them. It makes it a lot more special. Like you're really only going to see one of those in a match, so it's like the loot pool still remains the same. Obviously, having stuff from all 3 different biomes might seem a little crowded, but I feel like because it's so specific, like Chrome AR, Cube AR, or base AR, you have your 3 different types of ARs. They're very different from each other.
The sideways rifle versus the post rifle versus the
The only way you're not going to end up seeing one type of weapon is if the entire lobby does not land over there, right?
Yeah.
And even then, storm circles are going to bring you over there, and you're going to have a chance of getting a higher rarity weapon.
One game, sure, there might be 0 sideways weapons, but the next game there can be 0 Evochrome weapons. Like
it keeps gameplay fresh, like every match.
Which I think is, if they did something like that, that would keep it, because that's the problem. Like we play so much at the beginning, it's fun, but when we get to midpoint in the season, it's very repetitive.
Yeah.
But if something like that, it is going to take so much longer to get repetitive because it is going to be so much more fresh if the loot pool changes area to area versus the entire. Because I kind of like that they made it a little easier to get Evochrome, but now it's like, cool, I land and I get an Evo shotgun. I don't want that. If I want an Evo, I'll go to one of the 10 chromed locations on the map.
I think from a story standpoint, it'd be really hard to explain that. Like, obviously, the map merging kind of makes sense, but the fact that
the different biome,
having those different
the only thing is, like, obviously these are biomes that we've had already. I feel like they could be different. I don't think we necessarily get like the sideways rifle back, but like the idea of having biomes with a boss with their own unique loot pool.
My only thing is like it'd be a lot to try and create an entirely new weapons like theme for 3 different biomes of a new map. It'd be so much for them to try and design.
Themed per se, like, we have the Wild West. Like, what if it's just like weapons that we already have? It's just there. Like maybe this area has the infantry rifle and the charge. Yeah.
I mean, if we do get a map merge for Chapter 4, then I could very much see hey, here's a cubed area from the Chapter 2 map, a chromed area from the Chapter 3 map, and then I don't know, like one of those zones from Chapter 1.
Zones.
Yeah.
Like the cowboy. I keep bringing that one up. What if that's like in that corner of the map?
Like I could very much see that being a case. Obviously, probably without the build restrictions. But, bringing back those different weapons, I feel like could work really well with a map merge. My only thing is we haven't been on this chapter 2 side, so we don't know if that's gone or not. The chapter 1 map obviously is technically the chapter 3 map, so there would have to be some time manipulation there or reality manipulation, which isn't out of the picture, but it's unlikely.
Fortnite. Like it's already kind of confusing with snapshots and everything, so it doesn't throw out of the picture because people don't realize like chapter 3 is chapter 1. Like I get that that's confusing because it is confusing. Yeah. But like chapter 2 is underwater. And that's the other side of the chapter 3. But chapter 2 started after chapter 1 got destroyed because chapter 2 came out and then chapter 2 flipped, creating chapter 3, which is chapter 1 after the black hole.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Like when you really understand it, it makes complete sense. And it's not the idea of chapter 1 turning into chapter 3. That's still a little in the air just through some timey-wimey reality bending stuff with the 0 point and black holes. But when you understand it, it kind of makes sense. But then it doesn't.
Yeah. It's very, very complicated. And honestly...
Which is why we like it.
Yeah, we like it because of that. Some people are going to be deterred by that, which is quite unfortunate,
That's
actually.
Because just get bigger brained.
See, I want to say it's a well-thought-out story, but then on the other hand, I'm like, no, it's not.
We've talked about this so many times.
It's like...
But that's not the point
they
of
had
this.
a plan going in, but it kind of deteriorated.
See, like, what kind of plan did they have? And I've talked about this so many times. I don't know, on this podcast or just us. Where did they think the story was going to go? Yeah. We started with a rocket exploding. Okay, all snap. Oh, monster fighting. All snap. Now we have Iron Man helping us fight Galactus, who's after the 0 point. And the 0 point then is blooming into a flower, bringing Kratos and Tomb Raider to help us fight.
I feel like the story is just an excuse for them to bring in all of these other things and try and explain why it's there. And I feel like recently they've kind of realized, hey, we probably shouldn't just leave it at that, and they've tried to put more thought into it, but because of how they started, it's become a problem, which is why we keep saying, like, do a
prequel.
Yeah, a prequel season or a movie or something. Bring it back to then so they can re-explain what happened at that time and try and fix what is blurred the lines.
So here's an idea. What if just one season we get 2 story challenges? We get, like, Paradise, we get Vibin', but then we get Throwback as well, which is some audio lines, and we just get a little bit, not too much because they don't want to take away from that story of that season, but what if just every other week we get like 2-3 quests that just give us a little information? Like this week we get Foundation, and it's just a little bit, but it's something to help us understand who the characters are on top of that season's quests.
Yeah.
What if we get something like that?
I could see that. It's...
Because
it'd be a tall order for Epic, but...
Yeah, it's hard because what are they going to make an entire event based on prequel? That's a bit much. Because what about our current story, an entire season? Well, again, that's a little weird because that's going to be if we throw back to when the 7 were created, it's going to be really bare bones. But then we also don't want them because we also know it's going to be hard for them to make a full 40-minute movie. Like. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a practical way to do it without them having to spend too much money and time.
I honestly think
effort.
A different type of media is probably going to be best for that. That way they don't have to throw off the story they're telling in the game
or something.
I think comics would be a good choice.
The only problem is what comics would be the prequel with.
Right, I don't think they'd be able to team up with Marvel or DC with this. Like I think if they tried to tell their own story, they would have to do it individually, like independently. And then
that's going to be a lot harder for that to succeed because even though people like Fortnite, the reason Fortnite Zero War did so well is because it had Marvel. Spider-Man and Wolverine, it had Marvel. If it's just Fortnite, it's just going to be the Fortnite community, and that's going to be a lot harder to get a lot of money because the Fortnite community is there for sure, but think about how many kids aren't going to just buy a comic, a Fortnite comic. They're going to buy a t-shirt maybe, but not necessarily comics.
Yeah.
That's a type of medium
it's
that's
so
a lot
hard.
harder
And
to
movie
sell.
is going to be expensive. Obviously, I don't think live action would fit Fortnite. I think they'd have to do some sort of animation.
I mean,
maybe
we do
like
have live action actors.
What about a mini series on like YouTube? Because I've seen a lot of shows do that. Like Lego Ninjago a while back did like it was kind of like a Wikipedia mini series.
What about
like where
Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, like something like that, like little short,
like
5-minute.
Like short films, like a short series of YouTube videos where they just kind of go back over each season and like explain the story.
Season, but then we also had one for each character of the 7.
I could see that, yeah.
Because that's the big thing that we want. We want some foundation on the IO and the 7, like where they came from, who these people are. Like, cool, it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. What does that mean story-wise? Yeah. Is it just the fact that he looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or is it Dwayne The Rock Johnson? We don't know.
We literally don't, because
and that's the stuff we
none of them
know.
really have real names, right?
No,
It's
the
just their
foundation,
title.
the foundation to the 7, the
Which
scientist.
I think
the
is something that
scientist.
could be explained, kind of give them a backstory as to where they came from and why they joined the 7.
Yeah.
That way we know like a little bit more about why they exist, where they exist, and if it's the person we know.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our hopes for the following seasons.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to finish your wish list for?
Oh
weapons?
yeah, that's right. We were doing that, weren't we?
Yeah.
Gotta love the tangents.
Woo!
Okay, where were we? We finished ARs. Shotguns. I do not want the charge back. Like I don't think it's a bad shotgun per se. I just don't like it. I don't think it fits a lot of loot pools. I think it's both toxic and not toxic at the same time, in the sense that somebody can literally camp with a charged shotgun for the entire match and then kill you out of nowhere. And I think
couldn't you do the same with the charge SMG?
not really, because you have time to react with that. The charged shotgun is boom, you're dead. The SMG is, okay, I have to spray this entire mag now.
Yeah, but it's still really fast, and it was able to pierce 2 through a wall.
Yeah, I think
so, like, even turbo build, like it was.
I think if it gets nerfed, I think it'd probably be okay coming back. But
I don't know, because I feel like there's a chance that we can get some 200 back with the charge. I don't see the pump coming back and getting it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe like a legendary, like that's what Aussie Antics was saying, like an epic and legendary full charge could possibly do 200 at most. Because, that's in build, but then 0 build, you still can come back.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening, that with the charge, because the charge already did a little bit extra damage, and I don't see, just because it takes so much less, it still takes skill to turn around and save yourself with a 200 pump, but it definitely takes a lot more to save yourself with a charge. Yes, you can be toxic, but you can do that with anything. You can be sitting and staring at a door with a sniper rifle too. You're always gonna have people like that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about that. And I don't think it's fair to screw over the entire community because some people are going to sit there looking at a door with a charge when that's not most people.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's really fair to the community to completely not have the charge just because some people are toxic with it.
I think it's probably best to just have the 3 types of shotguns, and I don't think the charge is a good one to be the heavy hitter of the season. So maybe as a bonus shotgun to add on, but I think keep it like heavy hitter, like the striker or I guess the prime, though I think that's probably going to rotate out here because obviously
it's been in 2 seasons now, and that's the primary shotgun this season.
So I think have striker come back probably is best bet, and then have a fast firing. I think it's due time tac comes back. So that's probably on my wish list.
Like if the tac comes back, we'll probably get the scar. If the scar comes back, we'll probably get yada yada. We'll probably get the pump as long with the tac.
I think tac should come back though.
I think it's a good chance that we don't get the tac, we get the auto, and maybe chapter 5, full 2 chapters out. I think that's a good chance, especially if they're a year.
Yeah. In terms of ranged shotguns, I want the Ranger to stay, but I think it's most likely if we get a ranged shotgun, it'll be heavy, just because that's the one we haven't had for a while, and I think
that was only in season 1.
Yeah, it got reworked and wasn't in for long, so I think that's probably the most likely to come back.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance of combat coming back too, because that is the range. That is part of the range category. Yes, you can kind of throw that in with the tac and auto, but it's definitely more in the range category with the Ranger and heavy.
Yeah.
So. SMGs.
I think suppress should stay. I really enjoy the suppressed. I think it's a very well balanced shotgun. Shotgun.
SMG.
Yeah, SMG.
It is SMG.
It's a very well balanced SMG. I think it fits the loot pool real well. It is a slower firing one, so I think contrast it with a higher firing one. I think the combat SMG would be a good counter for it because it has higher recoil, but also obviously such a faster fire rate that it makes a difference. So I think combat and suppressed would be a good duo to have in the loot pool.
I wouldn't mind that. I definitely am biased. I really like the machine pistol. That thing was so fun. And I still really remember the video that I made where I had the FOV glitch with the machine pistol and heavy, and that was such a fun match.
Yeah. I do like the machine pistol. I think that'd be a good bonus one to bring back. If there's a third SMG, have that in there. But I think because it's a machine pistol, it's kind of hard to fit it in one of the 2 like fast fire, slow fire SMG slots.
Pistol. Obviously, the sidearm you
sidearm.
agreed with, but what would that other pistol be?
I think only sidearm. Honestly, I don't think
sidearm?
we need another pistol at this point. If we do get another pistol, machine pistol.
But that's not classified. Like when you pick it up, it goes in your SMG slot. It's called a pistol, but it's an SMG.
I don't think we need another pistol otherwise.
think so?
I think
I
sidearm.
think we do need another pistol.
But
I think
like
it's more
what?
fun.
Like there are only 2 other pistols.
What?
Like, other than like I guess the revolver and
The revolver, the scoped revolver, the hand cannon, the flintlock.
Okay, I stand corrected.
There's the dual pistols.
I think the flintlock would.
Pistol.
I think the flintlock would be a good one to be in the base game, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
No,
I think
yeah.
that's probably
It all
gonna
depends
stay
on
a
the
special
theme,
thing.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, that could totally be in the chapter 1 section maybe. But there's plenty of pistols that are really fun, like the flintlock and the hand cannon.
Yeah.
But there's also some basic ones like the revolver, the suppressed pistol.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of pistols, and I think it'd be fun to switch it and like just do that because like the amount of times, especially at the end of last season, the amount of times I picked up the shadow tracker, and that's one for the shadow ability. But I just love the suppressed pistol. I think it's a really good weapon, and it does really good damage too.
I'd like to see revolver. I think it's a nice heavier hitting one.
The only reason why I didn't say that is the fact that we already had that in this chapter.
That's true. That's true.
Like it's recent. Maybe the scoped revolver, but we already had the revolver, and we had all rarities for an entire.
I'm
season.
not a hand cannon fan, so I do not want to see that come to the
That's
game.
just because you're bad with it.
Okay, buddy. Sure.
Literally look at the hundreds of clips with hand cannon. It's cracked.
Nah, it's just bad.
No, you're bad.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Yeah. Hand cannon, that's just, it's pretty much a shotgun. Most people used it as a shotgun back in the day, like switching between the pump. That's after like double pump happened. But no, there's plenty of other pistols.
Damn.
You're just forgetful.
Pshaw.
Snipers,
heavy, obviously.
Yes.
I love the heavy. That should stay in. I really don't like the one-shot headshots. I think it's very toxic, but it's staying in the game, and at this point, I think the heavy's just the best to fit that kind of thing. Having a lot of shots in your sniper is a little bit annoying with one-shot snipes, so having to have that reload after is kind of a little bit more.
And I feel like the hunter's
fitting.
balanced because it's not doing crazy body. Like the heavy was hitting like 150 body. Obviously, a little less when it was in, but it's only doing like 100 body, which isn't too bad.
I think
The
it's
hunter
balanced. I just think it's annoying.
having more shots, but then it's also not super fast in between shots.
Yeah.
So I think Fortnite's going to keep that, and there's going to be very limited weapons with a higher magazine for snipers. And if they are, they're going to be like the semi-auto. Like it's going to be really slow.
Yeah.
And I feel like the semi-auto came back. They're going to have to nerf that because that thing was hitting like 120 bodies.
Yeah, I'm going to say second for sniper. I'm going to throw the marksman rifles in with this and just say Cobra DMR.
I didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like that's going to become its own category soon.
I very much think marksman rifles is its own category at this point, and I think
I'm just saying like actual like in the files like it's gonna be like you can choose this slot as your marksman rifle.
Yeah.
It has instead of like range like
I
shotgun.
think because right now it's grouped with snipers.
It's
isn't
groups
it?
with
Yeah.
snipers.
So I think
Like that's one reason why I didn't like the DMR because it's not a good sniper and it's a decent AR, but I'd rather have like one of the other ARs.
yeah, I think Cobra DMR needs to be in the game. Like that is
Probably
one of
Cobra.
the best weapons we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the scoped assault rifle could possibly be a decent replacement. It's definitely not going to be as good.
yeah.
But if we had one or the other, I wouldn't mind seeing the scope just because it's also just fresh. We haven't seen that in a while. If we want to, where would the lever action rifle be then? Would you classify that as a sniper or marksman rifle? It shoots really fast, and I feel like if they came back, they'd probably nerf the damage a bit.
I'd probably say marksman rifle.
Probably marksman rifle because
Yeah.
that's what I mean though. Like we have so many weapons that could totally be seen as marksman rifles
Yeah.
versus a sniper or an AR. So there's others. I wouldn't mind seeing the lever action back because I didn't get to use that in normal game.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that. What else?
I think
Pistols,
that's it for snipers. I think honestly that's all I'd want in the game. I don't think I'd want more than one sniper.
Yeah.
So yeah, just stick with the heavy, I guess. Utility then?
I guess so.
All right. Obviously the shockwaves.
Shockwaves,
right?
yes.
Shockwaves always should be in the game. It's a good baseline. I did say earlier that I would class a lot of like some of the special weapons we get as utility, like the goo gun. I count that as utility for me. And I think that's mostly because it doesn't fit into any other category.
See, another reason
it's
why
not
I
a
think
sniper,
it's
it's not an
thrown
AR,
in
it's
there
not a shotgun, it's not an
the fact
SMG.
that I feel like utility's mixed. Because utility I see more as a fishing rod and harpoon gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just
do
because
think
they
those are
don't want to
utility,
have
yeah.
like 10 different sections. Because I feel like if they did, they'd probably have weapon utility and maybe call it something different with like the goo gun versus the
you
harpoon
might be able to
rod.
group the goo gun in with like explosives, but even then I don't think we have enough. Like there's the anvil, there's the RPG. I'm
There's
gonna
the
count.
pumpkin launcher,
I think
there's
the
the
pumpkin
grenade.
launcher is the same as the RPG, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, but then there's the grenade
it's the
launcher,
same.
there's the snowball launcher, there's the egg cannon, there's the proximity.
But snowball launcher, egg cannon, and grenade launcher are very similar.
Yeah, but they are different.
Slightly,
They are different weapons.
Slightly.
And especially the snowball launcher, that's gonna make you that's gonna make you move. The egg, I don't even think the egg's been in the last few Easters, but they're there. We have the proximity. We have the guided missile launcher.
Okay, yet again, I stand corrected. So I guess the goo gun would be explosives
Yes, we have
category.
a lot. It's just so much that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the proximity. We haven't seen the guided missile
A lot of it
launcher
just hasn't been there for such a long time.
for such a long time. So that's why I really want some of the stuff to come back. Even if I don't like it, like I
Yeah.
don't like the scoped assault rifle. There's so many more that I'd rather see, but it's so fresh because it's just gonna make it new.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the scoped assault rifle would practically be a brand new weapon. Because the other reason I said that, think about how many people joined in Chapter 3, and think about how many people are going to join in Chapter 4 with Unreal Editor.
Yeah.
Like, all these people have never touched the scoped assault rifle, have never touched the scoped revolver. Even the tactical AR, like, you said it was in there, but I don't even think it was in there for a full season. So the last time it was properly in was Season 9.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's not my favorite AR, but it's going to make it so fresh.
Yeah, I agree. I think just bringing back a lot of the old ones is probably a good idea.
Now we're using the weapons that we know. I do not want every single weapon to be a weapon that we've already had. I want some new weapons too. And I think there's a good chance that we can possibly get a new AR, a new shotgun, because there's so much stuff in the files. Like there's this pistol that shot really slow but did a lot of build damage. There's this new type of shotgun. Like there's plenty of stuff in the files, and I want some new stuff. And we're just merely going off a list of weapons that we've already had. But I think there's a good chance we can get new stuff. But these are the types of weapons we want. We want a range shotgun. We want a heavy hitting. We want a fast firing, et cetera, et cetera.
Other utilities, I'd say I do like the dial-a-drop. I think that is a good utility to have.
I think that's just a basic
it's
one. Like
convenient.
just having heals, having a vehicle, and then having a new, if you need another weapon.
Because if you think about it, a lot of other battle royales have that kind of thing. So don't drop your headphones. That's not a good idea.
It's fine. It's fine. I can't hear anything. JJ, keep going.
Okay. Anyways, a lot of other battle royales have that dial-a-drop kind of thing. So it's due time Fortnite got their version, and I think this one is very fitting. You know, being able to call that vehicle as well. Like if you find a dial-a-drop in Storm, call that vehicle in, and you could get out no problem.
I think with the vehicle, they should reduce the health a little bit.
I don't know, because I feel like
because just the time, like if you are in Storm and it's like 2-5 tick or something like that.
The other thing is though, a vehicle hitting the ground makes it take damage.
I'm not saying I'm just saying that way if you want to shoot it down, it's not going to take as much. That way when you do get it down to that half point, you don't have to do as much damage as say just a weapon.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Or maybe make it fall down a little bit slower, because something like the weapons, okay, cool, you shoot it down, you drop it down, but like the vehicle, you kind of want the vehicle now, like it's gonna get people can just shoot it out of the sky.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, you're not gonna damage the weapon.
Yeah.
That's why I think they should either make that a little bit less HP or make it fall faster.
Yeah.
It's just less practical compared to the other two. But I mean, here's another thing. Like with Call of Duty, you have cash, right? We have gold. What if you can buy a specific supply drop? What if you can buy a vehicle supply drop from an NPC?
Honestly, yeah, that would
because that
make
gives
sense.
more point to the gold, right? That give NPCs another thing other than just a weapon, because they
Yeah.
don't really give too
Most
much.
NPCs on the map right now sell 2 to 3 things, and I think having 5 makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Have a weapon, a heal, like maybe have them give a bounty or something, then like a storm circle or, you know, a supply drop,
One of
something
those
along
types of
those
things,
lines.
and maybe cycle some of those out. Like one match, do you think they should be the same per NPC all the time? Or maybe what if this match it can either give... Well, actually, I guess with something like revealing the storm circle, it's going to be important to know which NPCs do that. So maybe keep
I think
it the
keep
same.
those. Have the weapons shuffle though. Like maybe have them sell any SMG, like randomized SMG.
It's
in
almost
the game.
like
So
have another more vending machine just around the map, and I think that's fine. Like I'd love to see some more vending machines around the map.
And I think have every NPC sell a rift. I think that is always a good thing to have as like, because before several times actually in this chapter, the Balbros in the vault down by the lake, I got trapped in there 3 times by people just waiting outside the door for me, and being able to talk to him and rift out is so convenient.
And it just gives more purpose to gold. Like there's so little purpose to gold. And me personally, I think I'd rather upgrade with gold. So you only upgrade stuff with gold, right? Upgraded weapons from like epic to legendary with gold.
Yes, I believe so.
Because
that and crafting.
Well, yeah, and crafting. But like back in the day, like when these upgrade stations first came out, you used materials, and so many people are. I saw so many people throughout the chapter like complaining about the gold thing. I think that gives a purpose to gold. I'd rather use my gold than trying to spend 300 wood, brick, and metal to get a legendary weapon.
Yeah.
So especially in competitive, like where you don't have, we only have 500 mats. Like you're not gonna have the mats to upgrade. So
yeah. It gives a little bit more purpose to gold, and I think because it's become such a big part of the game, it's important to have that.
Yeah.
So
that's NPCs.
Heals.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have talked about heals. Chug Jug. I think it works. I know it's like OG, but like,
I haven't used it, so honestly, I don't think I can speak on it very much.
Yeah,
so.
it's just like a shield keg. Like say that you're low and you're running away and you're able to find a Chug Jug on the ground. It's not the type of thing that a lot of people carry around. But say that you find that on the floor, or you start at the beginning of the match and like say that it's like zero build. What if you're getting shot and like you take a little bit of health, you lose your overshield? What if it just fully gives you your overshield, gives you your shield, like completely maxes you out after you're in a fight? Like
that could be pretty good. Yeah,
like just running away and finding that, not something that you really find. And it's definitely not going to be stackable. It's like, it still should take the 15 seconds, only stacks to 1, but just completely maxes you out. Like, it's just good.
My only thing is, I feel like the heals loot pool is something that can be very easily crowded, and having that kind of item in there just seems a little bit obnoxious, for lack of a better word. I think put that in a supply drop, right? Yeah. Make that something exclusive to the heal supply drop, right? Yeah.
Now, the other problem I have with the loot pool is legendaries don't feel like legendaries. I feel like stuff like that should be so much harder to find compared to an epic, because it is legendary.
Yeah, I feel like right now it's
just another color. I found a yellow AR.
I feel like that's just something exclusive to how this chapter's been, because it's like reality tree stuff. It's been so easy. Reality trees,
we had the chickens, we had the vaults this season.
I think have it just revert back. Like, don't give us legendaries so often. Have it be strictly from like
because if
epic
it was
chests
like
or supply drops.
You're not gonna find them that often. It's not gonna crowd, and
there'll be maybe like 10, 20 legendaries per match.
Yeah, and when you find a legendary, you're gonna be hyped to get a chug.
Yeah.
If it was currently, like right now, with the type of way they do the loot rarities, it's going to be like, oh, cool, another one. Oh, another one. If it was like back in the day, I think it'd be fine to throw that in the normal loot pool, because it just was, it was cool when you found a legendary, because it was legendary. It was rare. It's just not anymore. And that goes for everything, just like the rarity system and just the RNG. Like, remember all the hunter bolts we found in like season 2? I like the hunter bolt, but I don't want every weapon in a building to be a hunter bolt.
The drop on that was way too high.
And that just goes for overall Fortnite. Like, they just need to change that a little bit going into chapter 4.
Aside from that, Guzzle Juice, please and thank you. One of my favorite heals ever. Bring it back.
Keep Med Mist.
Keep Med Mist,
please.
Shield, obviously, we're going to have to keep minis and big pots.
Here's another thing with med. Okay, I did see. What about if we had a shield mist?
I think shield mist could be very much something. It'd be a spray more than a mist, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously shield is a liquid, health isn't in the games. But yeah.
Here's the thing. If we have these types of heals, like, who is going to carry a med kit or bandages over a med mist?
Yeah.
Who really does that? What do you think the chances are of them changing the white heals. I think minis and big pots are still fine. They're balanced. You carry 3, you get 150. You carry 6 minis, you're able to get to 50 3 times. Like, it's balanced, they're quick.
Yeah.
But something like bandages, they just feel absolutely useless with all the fish and the
I almost
mist.
never pick them up.
I pick it up if I'm low and they're just a pile of loot in the building, but I don't purposely carry them until I get a med mist, and then I drop them for the med mist.
Yeah.
Even if it's like 100 med mists.
Med mist is just so superior in every way. The fact you heal while moving as well, that's one of the only items in the game where you can do that.
Yeah.
And it's just, it changes like
so do you think they would
dynamic of combat.
I think med kits are still fine. No, I think they're fine. But I think bandages need a buff.
Yeah.
When they're in a loot pool with something, especially if there's going to be guzzle juice
have
and
them
med mist.
heal more at the very least. Like maybe have it still only get you to 75, but heal
maybe
more.
healing 25 per or something like that. Like, because then if you're, do you think they change the stack then too to maybe 10? Because right now it's 15. You're able to heal 75 and 25 a pop. So maybe 10, but heal 25.
Yeah.
I think that would make it more worth carrying.
Yeah.
Because right now there's no.
Because then I'd probably carry some bandages over a med kit sometimes. Like, it'd genuinely probably be better.
Yeah, especially with how many times you have splashes and chug cannons and all that stuff. What about the bandage bazooka? We have the chug cannon.
I don't care for it.
No.
Honestly, it's just not.
Because why have that when you have the chug cannon?
I'd rather carry 2 heals than carry a bandage cannon that's not going to heal me much.
But again, if they buff the bandages, they probably buff that too. So that would probably heal 25. But what if that could heal to 100? It's unlimited bandages, able to heal to 100, and each shot does 25. Now, it is only to one player, but that's a quarter of your health. And
I feel like then take out the chug cannon and restrict it to like a shield cannon, right?
Yeah.
Have it be very specific. That way there's not just one that can do both and one that can only do one.
But I feel like with the one that does both, they'd just be less, right? Like it'd be the 20 or maybe 15, because I think it is 15, right?
I think it is, yeah.
So that's like, what? That's 10 less, but it could be to either. And I feel like that's a fair balance. One does so much more than the other, but it's only to one category.
Yeah.
Versus both doing less. So I think it could be fair.
Yeah.
What's some other heals?
Pizza.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I wouldn't be upset if pizza isn't in a base loot pool, because I think that's an item that should come back anytime there's an event.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Christmas, Fortnitemares,
especially summer.
Freaking summer, or like
4th of July.
Valentine's Day. Like, have that be the heal that comes back with every event. You can theme it, you can retexture it, just have it be there, because I think that's such a good heal to have, and it fits with any sort of celebration.
Yeah. So I have 2 more heals. Chili chug splashes.
Yeah, those are great.
I would love to have them come back. And then 2. So I saw on Warzone 2, there's this really cool pistol. It's actually a revive pistol. If you shoot your teammate, it'll res them. What do you feel about something like that? Because there already is stuff like that. There is like a grenade or something like that in that one survival game mode where you can res your teammate.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about something like that coming to Fortnite? Obviously, they change it for copyright reasons and stuff like that, but some kind of item that maybe it's like a shield bubble mixed with a shield keg. Like, what if you throw it down, it reses them and gives them a little bubble around them, and it's like a grenade. So you throw it, it reses anyone in there and gives them a little bubble, not as big as the normal bubble shield, but just enough that they can be in here and be safe and get resed.
I mean, what if it's just like a tiny dome? Like, think half of a bubble shield.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and
smaller.
If you're in it, you're getting healed. Like, maybe at the same rate as a shield keg goes.
Yeah, probably.
But like, it's all health and can res them. It probably would still take 5 to 10 seconds to res them, but I think
that way
being
you
able
can
to also have
them
the healing factor.
And like,
yeah,
you can throw that down and then fight the team to keep them off of them. That'd be great.
That would be, yeah. I
think that could be really cool. And like I said, it's already kind of in the files. We've already had an item like that. And I think there is some kind of revive pistol.
Even if you can't see them, the fact that your down mate can crawl, you just throw it down and have them crawl into the bubble.
Yeah. So I think that can be really cool and really useful, especially if they're changing reboots to be able to purchase reboots and everything. I could totally see them changing revives.
Yeah.
And being able to do a little bit more with revives. And obviously, all this stuff would keep the same system. We're still going to be able to revive the same way. You can still pick up their card and reboot them. They're just adding extra methods. They're throwing this down, being able to purchase or have a throwable.
You know, mobile reboots is a huge thing as well. Like, if you even if it's like 500 gold, being able to buy a mobile reboot and reboot anywhere on the map it's crazy. And I very much think that they could add a res thing like that as well. You know,
That's what I mean.
you
Like,
don't
they
have
keep
to
the
be
normal
on them.
system,
Yeah.
but then having an extra reboot and revive option.
Yeah.
Because especially right now with going into Chapter 4, think about how huge Chapter 3 was. Chapter 2, Season 2, you can carry people, right? Chapter 3, we had Medmist. No, did we have Medmist at the beginning?
Yeah.
I know we had Guzzle.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can crawl super fast. Like, I remember beginning of Chapter 3, all those crazy things you can do while downed. Like, it's crazy. So I could totally see them just making it insane again with the beginning of Chapter 4, adding a new way to res and a new way to reboot.
And, you know, with the addition of this special heal drop, I think all of this is a lot more plausible. You know,
And
have
that's another
certain
reason
things
why
be
I think they
specific
should
to that
keep-
drop.
That's another reason why I think we should definitely keep the dial-a-drop, because what if there's a vehicle that you can only get? Now, I'm not saying there's a chance you can get a tank. 1 out of 10 vehicle drops is a tank. But what if there's just a faster, like a boost? Okay, so what if we just get a truck that just has boost, but you can only get that through the dial-a-drop?
Like every dial-a-drop car has some sort of special mod on it.
Yeah, like it could have, well, I think it would have all of them.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it has
every dial-a-drop car already has
the
a
cow catcher
and tires.
So what if just every dial-a-drop just has a boost?
That,
Something like that. Because that makes it so much more worth
Mm-hmm.
choosing that. Because right now, I only choose that if I need a vehicle to do challenges or something.
Yeah.
There's no practical sense when I can get like 3 big pots, 6 splashes. I can get 2 splashes, a med kit, and a purple weapon.
It's just, it's not a plausible option right now, but having that
Having
extra
that boost
feature.
and maybe even having a special vehicle in general, like a special. What if it's just like a van that's just a super buff? What if it has like 5,000 HP? It's strong, maybe a little slower, but just you can only get it through the dial-a-drop.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I like that idea. I think
and then
that'd
the
fit.
same thing goes for the heals. Like if they do add a special heal item, you only get that through the heal supply drop. So
Yeah.
it just gives them ability to help the loot pool not get so crowded. And when they get new items, just like a place to put it in. But it also just gives a purpose to having NPCs selling certain types of supply drops, like an NPC specifically selling a vehicle. Yeah, okay, cool. Now I can buy this and get this tank.
And then that makes vaults a little bit more valuable as well. You know, being able to maybe find, instead of just 2 supply drops, maybe you get a normal supply drop and a heal
med
supply drop.
Exactly. I think they should also be just a chance that when a normal supply drop spawns. Now, if they do that, do you think they'd increase the chances? Do you think they maybe have a little bit more? Not like 5 supply drops in a circle. Maybe like 1 extra supply drop if there's a chance it could be heals and vehicle.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think
it just
honestly,
be like
right
a
now,
30
randomized supply drops, I almost never get them. Like maybe 1 in 10 matches, I'll get a randomized supply drop. But the dial-a-drop, I use almost every other match.
Yeah.
So if they increase supply drops a little bit because they added the heal-a-drop to that kind of
I think it'd just be like a
order.
33% chance for each one. Just it's 1 out of a 3. But then there's maybe 1 or 2 extra supply drops in the max of supply drops.
Yeah.
So that way, So I don't think every single time there's going to be 1 of each. That way, not every time there's going to be 2 and they're both vehicles, because that would suck. But if they increase it by 1 and just have it 1 1/3.
I don't think vehicle drop should be in the random order.
You don't think so?
I think just the med ones, because honestly, there are so many vehicles around the map anyway.
That's true.
So just leave the special vehicles to the dial-a-drop item. I think it's probably best.
What about in zero build? Because I think vehicles play a really important part in zero build as some of the little protection. So what about if they had that in zero build specifically? You had you had a randomized vehicle drops. That way, imagine you're just here and you just have a random vehicle drop. You go there, you shoot it down, and now you have protection.
Yeah, honestly, I could see that, but that very much depends on whether or not we get a separate loot pool.
It all depends on the map as well, but also the loot pool. But I think that again just shows where and how important it is to have a zero build versus build loot pool. There's so much stuff they can do to increase and make the zero build so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna definitely main build mode.
Yeah.
JJ knows this. I'm too good at building just to stop, and I have too much fun with building. But I've also been playing a lot of zero build, and I would enjoy it so much more. And I think you guys might like it a little bit more.
I just struggle to switch my brain between the 2 modes sometimes.
I
like them both,
like,
and I can
He's
do
like
competently at them both. I just have to remember, oh wait, I don't have builds this match. I need to play that way, not this way.
And he struggles all the time, and normally kills himself in the process because he fights like 4 people.
I
It's
go out in the open thinking I'll be fine.
Help! I'm like, I'm on my way. I don't have mobility either because you ran away.
It's like I know how the strategy works. I just didn't.
I know
didn't
how to
think
win the
about
fort,
that.
but I didn't do the right strategy. Like,
Yeah.
this is tough. Well, is there any other thoughts you want to say on Chapter 4, which, by the way, I want to say this again, at the time of this being uploaded is 1 day away.
Reforged.
Thank you all for watching. JJ Stupid.
Thank
Peace
you.
out.
Yeah. Bye.